Doubles and coffee. Oh Lord, all your people serious. I'll get about 5 messages. You okay? Your asthma acting up. Where the doubles and coffee? It's 7:32 already. Where? No, this morning, Faris, we needed a little bit more time for preparation. Faris. My goodness, Faris. I cannot believe, Faris. Faris, how come one human being have investigation and probe into Nelson Gate and the indemnity? How one human being have probe in the extradition of Jack Warner? One human being, all that probe. Then they have probe for rental and approvals for building and so on. All that probe for a minister who recused himself over 100 times. Real probe. And now Faris, a high court judge, sent you to be probed by the DPP. Faris, a CPEP probe too. All that probe, you should have been an astronaut, boy. Faris, all that probe, you should have been a proctologist, boy, Faris. But let me get serious now. I hold in my hand an affidavit sworn in a court, stamped, signed, and sealed, and delivered and dated by the CEO of the CPEP company, Keith Eddy. Let me tell you some things that he wrote and stated as fact. And these facts have to be questioned, cross-examined, and a statement from Faris must come debunking these statements. But let me say what this man says, that he swear on a Bible is the truth. Paragraph 6, I informed the chairman, that is Mr. Joel Edwards, that I had not replied and reiterated my position that under no circumstances would I be willing to proceed to renew all contracts in the absence of cabinet approval, and that I would not be intimidated, pressured, or bullied into so doing. I indicated this to him because I felt as if I was being pressured into extending the contracts without cabinet approval, despite my expressed view that this was necessary in the circumstances. Once cabinet approval was granted, I would have had no difficulty in implementing the decision of the cabinet. I was of this opinion because CPEP is a wholly owned government institution, and it would obviously be unethical, if not illegal, for CPEP to commit the government to expenditure in the vicinity of $1.4 billion without any form of prior consultation and approval. It would obviously be unreasonable for such a transaction to proceed without the government having any knowledge of it because of the implications for the national budget. It would commit the government to a significant expenditure without any form of prior consultation, approval, or knowledge. And to my mind, that could not be right. Now, Faris Al-Rawi has recently stated, since Colm Imber did all his research and came up with the concoction that there was a note from 2017 in the cabinet that had not been rescinded, and therefore no cabinet approval was necessary. Well, Faris, if that is your position, just provide the evidence that you told Chairman Edwards, hey, no cabinet approval is necessary because there's a 2017 cabinet blanket note, and that's what we're doing it on. How come that was not written on the board note created by Corporate Secretary Gopal Singh? Why is that not there? Faris, just show that you told Keith Eddy or you told Sadiq Hussain, hey, cabinet approval is not necessary right now because there's a blanket approval from 2017 cabinet note. Why you didn't attach that cabinet note to the board note? Why did the corporate secretary not have it? Why did the chairman not have it? Why did the board members not see that note attached? Faris, you see things now got serious because this is not no political game. This is not no press conference. This is a high court judge being serious, reading pleadings, all the witness statement, and sending a matter for investigation to the DPP, for the fraud squad, for the anti-corruption unit. Yes, Faris. So, let me now ask, I'll read another statement, then I'll go have a lot of questions for Faris. And I'm saying here on Doubles and Coffee, anybody could use those questions. Members of the media, you are free to use those questions. I do not hold these questions as my propriety or my possessions. I give you freedom to utilize it as your own. I give you, members of the police fraud squad, if you want to use this video and take notes to ask questions, you are free so to do. It's not my own, it's the people's own. Mr. Eddie, a reading from his affidavit, stamped, signed, and laid in court. In the lead up to the general elections, I came under intense pressure from the line minister Al-Rawi and others to add new contractors and to assist certain companies. When I demanded documentary evidence and proof that approval had been granted by the Ministry of Finance or the Cabinet, none was forthcoming. Now, this is a little separate issue because Faris and his boy Siddiq Hussain, who is Siddiq Hussain, were pressuring the CEO to add on new contractors because there was a little gap. They didn't use all. So they still had a number, 13 or 23 or something, contractors that they could have increased. The man asked for documentary evidence, nothing wrong with that. Why was it not forthcoming? Did this happen, Faris? Tell us. In April 2025, the month of the general election, then Minister Al-Rawi called me on several occasions to demand that I add new contractors into the CPEP program. I was extremely concerned about his aggressive and demanding nature because I was being asked to add these contractors without any corresponding increase in funding, far less approval from the Ministry of Finance. More importantly, when I asked Mr. Al-Rawi to put his request in writing, he would get angry and never did so. I simply could not, in all good conscience, add new contractors without the requisite approval from the Ministry of Finance and any form of supplemental funding. On 3rd April 2025, the chairman and I had a WhatsApp conversation. Now this has been handed in, and police phones, check your phones, all you make Kamla and Barry Padarat and Ram Logan with email gate when Rowley was lying through his teeth. You brought a prime minister to hand over her devices. You all remember that? Get the devices. The chairman and I had a WhatsApp conversation about this sensitive issue, and he warned me to be careful of Mr. Al-Rawi because he may not be speaking the truth. The following exchange took place. Mr. Joel Edwards, you have questions to answer now. I'm going to go through this quick. This is why I'm late, you see. I wrote all these questions here for Faris Al-Rawi. All right, let me see if I can get it through. How about 7 minutes and 20 seconds? Question for Faris. Were you line minister for CPEP April 2025? Did you know CPEP chairman Joel Edwards? Does he have your cell number? Do you have his? Do you know the CPEP CEO Keith Eddy? In April 2025, did he have your cell number? Did you have his? Did you have conversations and or WhatsApp exchanges with Mr. Joel Edwards or Mr. Keith Eddy in April 2025? Police, get the warrants, get the cell phones. Remember email gate. Did you give the chairman of CPEP, Joel Edwards, any instructions on the renewal and or extension of CPEP contracts in April 25? Yes or no? Did you advise Mr. Joel Edwards Faris at any time and in any format that Cabinet had approved the commitment and expenditure of $1.4 billion for the extension of all CPEP contractors some till 2029? If no, can you proffer an explanation as to why Mr. Joel Edwards, chairman of then CPEP, would concoct, fabricate, and disseminate falsehoods upon you and your PNM cabinet? What was the purpose for these blanket approvals and extensions for up to 4.5 years into the future? What was the needs assessment done? Was it envisaged by you and the PNM cabinet that citizens will remain poor and dependent on minimum wage, hard labor permanently for this period? So you never expected or intended for people to move on and for Trinidad and Tobago to reduce its poverty line and number of people below it? Did selected PM Prime Minister Stuart Richard Young give you authorization and or instruction to proceed in this manner? Did you, Faris, inform your cabinet colleagues that this was your intention and the intention of the board of CPEP? Did you take a note to Cabinet Faris Al-Rawi? Well, you admitted that you did not, So it gets very interesting here. I think by your admission that you did not, you made this situation worse. You took it from civil into criminal, but the police will decide. Since you stated that there was no need for cabinet approval, as there was a blanket cabinet approval from 2017, then 1. Why did Mr. Edwards state to Mr. Eddy that cabinet had approved the $1.4 billion expenditure? That would not have been necessary? Why did the corporate secretary Gopal Singh produce a board note stating that cabinet had agreed to the increased expenditure? Then why, if there was no need for cabinet, why was this incorrect, erroneous, fraudulent board note then circulated to each and every board member on the eve of an election, and the last one approving it at 9:15 a.m. on Monday, 28 April 2025? Why was this done and round robin to all board members? Did you, Faris, directly through WhatsApp or by utilizing a proxy, give Mr. Joel Edwards, chairman of CPEP, the belief that 1. The Prime Minister and the Cabinet were aware of the pending universal extensions, 2. That the Prime Minister and the Cabinet approved the same, and 3. That it is okay for the board to proceed with such unusual commitments based on the undertaking of the Cabinet, authorization of the Cabinet? Faris, if, as you have admitted publicly, Cabinet approval was not necessary, if anyone was to admit, confess, or state that you as line minister instructed, advised, told, suggested, or confirmed that cabinet approval, as stated on the board note, had been given, is it your position that they are lying on you? If the police find any WhatsApp conversations, comments, instructions, conversations, and or assurances between you and Mr. Joel Edwards, former chairman of CPEP, in or about April 2025, what would be your response to that? If any WhatsApp conversations are found between yourself and Mr. Siddiq Hussain in April 2025 regarding the approval of the cabinet for the universal extension of contracts at CPEP, what will be your response to this evidence? Did you, Faris Al-Rawi, call, pressure, request, suggest, or instruct then CEO Keith Eddy in March or April 2025 to hire new contractors? Did you instruct, request, or advise Mr. Siddiq Hussain to advise, suggest, request, or encourage the then CEO Keith Eddy to hire brand new contractors for CPEP in March or April 2025? Did any Faris of you suggest, state, or advise that cabinet had recommended the hiring of these new contractors? Did cabinet actually agree to hire new contractors in March, April 2025? Would any witness who states facts contrary to your position that cabinet approval was never necessary, would they be bearing false witness upon you, Faris Al-Rawi? And Faris Al-Rawi, finally, who is Siddiq Hussain? What is his connection to you? Is he related to former PNM Cabinet Minister Kazim Hussain? What was his role and function at CPEP? What process was used to hire him? On what basis would Mr. Siddiq Hussain be conducting conversations with and or giving advice or instructions to the CEO of the CPEP company, who inter alia was in fact his boss? Where did Mr. Siddiq Hussain derive this executive power? Do you and Mr. Siddiq Hussain have each other's cell numbers? If so, did you have conversations in March and April 2025? Faris. Never before has one man been caught in so much couture. Never before has one minister had so many questions to answer. Don't come with your nonsense and your attacks on Anand Ramlogan. Anand Ramlogan beat you in school. He brighter than you. He'll beat you every time he face you, and he will beat you again. But it's not Anna now. It's the DPP. It's the fraud squad. It's the police. It's the anti-corruption unit. Over to you, Faris.